So should you get an upgrade, the Canon, the R8? The answer to this in one word: just don't do it. Canon is famous for coming up with a lot of very good products. This is just a flop, and I'll show you exactly why. So first off is this. This is how fast it actually shoots. It's not that fast. With a mechanical shutter, it can do a lot better, but this is electronic shutter. It is just not fast enough, and this is the fastest that it actually goes. The second issue I have with it is over here. So with this thing, is like when you turn this on or off, you constantly have to go through this middle thing right here, which is the lock screen. It keeps on just going right through it. I think it would have been so much better if it was just on and off. There is no reason why it should always go into the lock screen and give you another step that you have to go through the way if you have to shut it off or to turn it on. It is just extremely annoying. Now, the next thing about this that I really dislike is the cheapness of the entire build, including the sandpaper experience over here. It feels exactly like sandpaper. Talking about cheapness, you can tell that this thing has been cut corners when they made this. Specifically right here, you can just see it right there when you get and eject the battery, that this thing is just has not been finished. They should have put a plastic thing right on top here. Instead, you can see the metallic part just sticking out of it. It is really unacceptable for a camera at this price range. This would have been an excellent camera, but there is a few grips about this that constantly make me think that this product was just rushed right out of the door, and they decided, let's just make another camera. But it could have been so much better. It is $1,000 cheaper than the biggest full frame camera. So you're gonna save huge amount of money by getting the R by buying this camera if you want the greatest tech and yet not sponge a lot of cash. Now it has a bunch of issues that I actually dislike about this. And of course it doesn't give you too many options if you want a full frame camera. And here is why. And if you're still satisfied with this answer and you're okay with it, you probably should get it. So first off, the battery. This thing super lacks juice. You will probably need 3 of those in order for you to do some serious photo shoots. Now, next problem with this is just how cheap this entire feeling is all about, of this entire screen. Like when you touch this, it just feels super cheap. In fact, let me show you what I mean. So all the way over here in the back feels like sandpaper, like practically like sandpaper. I never had a feeling like this when I'm touching a Canon. Usually it's like, wow, this thing feels good. This does not. No matter how much times you touch it, this specific thing is the worst. Anything I ever touched, just the surface, is just gives you this nasty feeling when you touch this thing. Not happy. Next thing, really small pocket change right there, is this right here. Why would they do the knob right here? Right there was just perfect. Over here it just looks weird. So opening this up, and next bummer, the screen, LCD screen. Now I have had a bunch of LCDs. I never seen a screen that gets as dirty as quick as this one over here. Another bummer right from Canon. Now another thing I actually totally dislike about this, and so for some people that could be a deal changer, is right on the top here, and I will show you what I mean. So when you turn this on, we have to go through the lock button, like constantly through the lock button, and then you're going to be turning it on, or you're going to go lock and off. Why, Canon? Why would you even put this right here? It is such a major annoyance when it comes to doing this. Next thing is the lack of a joystick. There is just no joystick here whatsoever. There is this thing right here, and there is the touch screen, but it's very hard for you to be able to move things around. The joystick is just something you need, and the R10 has the joystick. I mean, come on, Canon. Can't you just put a joystick over here to make things so much easier and faster for you to actually use. It makes it just such a pain for you to go ahead and get this to work without a joystick. So primarily those are the biggest issues I have with this. And if you really want to pick niches over here, well, here's another one that I really dislike. So there is no video option right here. The video option is basically right here, just on and off the video. So those are the biggest issues that I have with this Canon camera. And it might seem minor for some people, but for me, that is just a big deal breaker when I pay so much money for it. I'm expecting all those things to be in this camera, and it just lacks basic necessities that it should actually have. So when you're paying a lot of money, you want to have everything in the camera, everything included. And this is just a little bit really big inconvenience. It makes me not want to actually keep this camera. So if you're on the fence and thinking, well, this is big issue, then do not buy. If you actually are, well, this is now no big deal and I don't care about those small issues, then yes, you can get it. Now apart from that, what are the other bigger problems with this? There was really nothing else for you to really dislike about this camera. It is much more lightweight than anything else that is available, but really if you have the extra money to shell out, I would really suggest for you to get a different lens, because although maybe yeah you'll get a little bit better image quality, you'll get better videos out of this, those small downsides is just gonna push you away from the fun of using a camera. In fact, you can get an R10 and save a huge amount of money, and you don't have to put up with all this nonsense that you're putting up with. So they kind of restricted this camera. They took out all the fun features that made this camera just would have been really amazing, and they just shortcut it to make it, yeah, it's good, but good enough for 1,500 that I was going for? No. Right now it's going 1,300. Sometimes you can get a deal on it. It's still just a little nick, just a little bit too expensive, especially given those small shortcomings that make this just so much more annoying for you to use. And also it doesn't even have a pop-out flash. So for this price, you're not getting a flash. You have to buy an external flash to put this in. If you're not using a flash, you don't care. But yeah, those are small minor annoyances that keep on adding up to this camera. There was one, there was two, there was all those small things that make you think, well, shouldn't I shell out more money and buy the better version? Well, this is what Canon wants you to do. It wants you to buy the greatest and the best one. So obviously it's going to release another model, and intro, you get into this, you're like, oh, but it's missing all those essential functions. And it is by design. It is missing them because Canon wants you to buy the best camera they have, not this downgraded, stripped down version of a potentially good camera. Now, if you need a full frame lens with a Canon camera, then this is the cheapest you can get. But that's one thing. Do you need a full frame? Can you really justify getting a full frame? And can you wait? Because if you wait a little bit more, maybe they will come up with a better version of this camera, and they will actually fix those small issues and make it so much more better and presentable for more people to actually want to own and buy this.